You probably know this, but to win build battle, you gotta make something that looks good. And seeing that this usually means using all of the different styles of each block, I thought, how hard would this game really be if everything looked the exact same? And after putting on the most plain texture I could find, I went into my first game to find out the answer. And that's why I have brain damage. Starting off game 1, I realized a huge issue. Not only could I not see where each block was in the menu, I couldn't see the menu. I decided that using the search bar was way too easy. Obviously, I was low on sanity that day, so for the rest of this video, I'll be needing to learn to navigate through all the blocks completely blind. The first theme was castle, so I thought I'd make a sandcastle, which led me to figuring out just how weird it feels to build without a crosshair. And after building the most average thing you could possibly imagine, it was time to vote. I didn't end up doing too bad, so I was feeling pretty hopeful of an easy win. And going into game 2, the theme was bat. This round was also where I learned that hotkeying blocks in my hotbar would save me so much more time than selecting one block and then searching for a spot in my hotbar, or even just looking for the hotbar itself. After building what I thought looked like a decent enough bat, it was once again time to vote, and I lost before voting even ended. But I did make the top 3, so I figured that the next few games were definitely going to be a win for me. And then I proceeded to build this thing. What am I looking at? I can't tell if I was sleep deprived, but this is the worst thing I've ever done. This thing didn't even get last place. Someone please explain this. Game 4. I was still determined to end this challenge as quickly as possible, so I tried to just forget what happened last time and win. Unfortunately, this is where the theme started to become a real problem. This time I had to build a football. I already knew that just building one kind would make at least someone try to nuke my house, so I ended up building both. The problem is that the black and white one has a pattern, so try getting someone who can't see anything but the color of nothing to make a nice looking pattern. I will wear this with pride. Moving on to game 5, I needed to make a hammer. It wasn't very creative, but all I could think of was making Thor's hammer. I think I was running a little low on energy at this point, and this is also where I began wondering just how hard it would be to complete this challenge. But with the 4th place ranking, I decided to just move on to the next round. The theme was moon, so I tried making the floor look like the moon in space. And I also built a tiny earth in the sky. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. I still couldn't see what I was doing. I ended up getting 7th place, which is just as bad as when I built the thing which will not be named. At this point, I had been playing for a while, and I needed to take a break, so I thought, why not just continue with this tomorrow and hope it goes better. To start off day 2, I had to build an Enderman. I wanted to make this one a little funny looking by building it with a massive head. I really thought that it would help make it stand out, and no, I didn't. This wasn't planned. I just built it wrong. When I was done making Jimmy Neutron's diss on brother, the voting began. And that's when I got the worst score out of the entire video so far. Well, it was the first round of the day, so I just shrugged it off and moved on. After that massive failure, I needed to make a flying pig. So to start it off, I grabbed brown, blue, yellow, and black wool. But I can hear you wondering already why I chose these colors. Don't worry though, I actually had a pretty good use for these colors. I'll just leave it to me from the past to explain my master plan to you. It's a pig! What am I doing? I thought it was a bird. Well, at least I had a plan. Okay, so what happened here was somehow my pea-brain saw the word flying and got stuck on it. So I ended up going 2 whole minutes into the round before realizing I messed up. Well, at least I can thank Minecraft for diagnosing me with early onset dementia. With all the time I wasted, I really had to pull it together and make the best flying pig you could imagine if I was still looking to win. Obviously that didn't happen. 11th it is. Round 9 was a spider theme. I felt especially prepared for this one since I spent a lot of time drawing Spider-Man symbols. And from all my intense research, I knew just a fact that would for sure put me above all the rest. Spiders' legs never come out of their abdomen. What? For some reason I thought this bit of accuracy would make my spider look better and give me the win. It didn't do that. Yeah, all it did was make it look weirdly shriveled up. And just to rub salt in the wound, while I was trying to get this weird piece of accuracy, I forgot another thing. Spiders have more than 2 eyes. So for the 3rd time in a row, I got 11th place. I realized this was beginning to be a bit of a bad habit, so I knew I needed to change something up. And moving on to round 10 with the theme being piano, I decided it was time to go smaller. I did this for 2 reasons. The first being that making builds that were more scaled down meant that I would have a lot more time to try adding in any detail that I wouldn't otherwise be able to. The second being that I didn't want to work hard to make something that would barely get finished and end up really low down in the leaderboard. And hey, I finally had time to make a smiley face, so clearly I was doing something right. When the voting ended, I got 5th place, which made me feel like I was inching my way closer to finally placing first. All of that was lost the very next round. The theme was campfire, which ended up being an absurdly difficult problem. First of all, I had mostly been relying on just using wool since it was all in one general area and easy to find for me. This meant that I had to go out of my way to look through the invisible inventory just to find wood this one time. To make things worse, I had been relying on one of the smaller sub-menus the whole time to make things easier to find, and the one I was using didn't have wood in it. The only thing I could think of was going into the menu where every single block and item in Minecraft is, and scrolling through the entire thing just so I could get wood. Because of all of that, I ended up starting the build 3 minutes in. But don't worry, in case you thought I didn't have it hard enough, I know how to make a fire using different colors of wool in a nice looking way, which I can't do. You want to know the worst part of it all? I still did better than the first 3 games of the day. I don't know if that's impressive or just sad. After what happened, I felt done with this game. I began thinking that maybe it would be best if I just stopped and said it's not possible for me. I felt so wiped out that I didn't want to wake up the next day and play the game like this anymore. So I didn't for almost the next 3 weeks. Over that time, I thought about this challenge and kept thinking about how it was still there, waiting to be completed. And one day I decided it was time to get this over with. I went to my computer, booted up Minecraft, and hit record for another go. While taking my time off, I realized an important lesson that helped push me through. Skill issue. If I was gonna win, I better be building the best stuff a blind man could see. Wait, what the? I was determined to win a game like this one way or another, so I went into another round. This time I had to make a catapult. This one ended up looking very weird, since I, for some reason, forgot what a catapult looked like. But looking at what other people thought about the giant spoon, it seems pretty positive. Never mind. I took another 5th place and went on. Round 13's theme was balloon. A balloon seems simple enough. I mean, how hard could it be? I somehow made this thing sharp enough to pop itself. Why couldn't I just make a sphere? Maybe a face will fix it. When the voting ended, I got to experience the feeling of joy and how fast that joy can be ripped away from you. Oh, I was close. I was not. Oh, wait, no, I wasn't. That disappointment wasn't enough to get me to quit though, so it was on to round 14 where the theme was happy. I didn't have a clue on what to do, so I just rebuilt the same exact thing as last time, just with a second balloon now. I ended up losing to what I can only assume is a standard smiley face. I really should have recorded those replays while I had the chance. Now I was going into my 15th round of the entire challenge. When the theme turned out to be book, I thought maybe I'd make some kind of magical book, but I quickly realized I wasn't going to be able to do that. Instead, I tried just making a normal book with its pages open. It turned out looking extremely flat and not how I wanted it to be. Well, at least someone else was able to build what I wanted to go for. This just ended up being the 4th time I got 5th place. Next up was round 16, where the theme was campfire. I left the game immediately. Let's try that again. Round 16's theme was spider. This time I made sure that I would improve on what didn't work the last time I tried to make a spider. And my method of doing that was taking the first spider build I made and setting it on fire. I completely changed everything about it this time so that it would just look nice and not like it's just contracted the bubonic plague. I was really thinking that this could be the build to get me into 1st place, but remember, I'm not too bright, so 5th place for me. But this was no time to stop, so I kept going. The topics for round 17 showed up, and I immediately knew what I wanted. I thought rat was the best choice, not because I'm blind, but because it's just fun to build rats. I even gave it a piece of cheese, but ran out of time to make the mousetrap. He survives this time, but mark my words, his luck will run out soon. This one guy I saw during voting made a rat trying to get buff. Not really important, just thought you would all like to know. When the round ended, I finally got something better than 5th place. This was better, but not 1st place, so on to round 18. This time the theme was toothpaste. I built the only thing I could really think of and just used the extra time to make a second brush with eyes. I realized that if I can't think of anything to do, I just default to giving things a face. Maybe someone will find it funny, but I think it's really just me going insane after all this time. I guess 5th place isn't too bad. Let's just see what I did next round. The theme was marshmallow, and obviously roasting marshmallows would be an easy choice here. But if any of you remember, I don't know how to make fire look good. Since I couldn't rely on the fire looking nice, I had to build the one thing I could rely on. Cannibalism. Yeah, I built marshmallow roasting another marshmallow. I get it. It might be weird. But tell that to the people who voted this into 2nd place. We're all criminals here. With me being just 3 points away from 1st place, I really wanted to get that win. So I started another round for the 20th time in the challenge. And the theme ended up being chosen before I even moved my mouse. With the chosen theme being unicorn, you'd think that this would have to be something big and majestic. Well, it wasn't like I was going to start doing that. Instead, I went for a unicorn that looked more like a weird sitting plushie than anything else. But once again, it was time to vote, and my build showed up 2nd. This did have me a little worried because I don't know if it's actually better or worse if your build shows up at the beginning. Guess it didn't matter though, since these other builds were looking pretty good from what I can see, which is impressive because I can't see more than 10% of anything. And when the game finally ended, this happened. I win! Oh! And that's how I beat this game while all the blocks looked the exact same. And if you want to try this, yeah, sure, go ahead. I'm not stopping you. You can probably beat it faster than I can anyway. All right, bye. Alright, real quick before you go, I just want to say that I will be trying to respond to every single comment I got on this video. Also, this is my first video I've ever made, and I didn't like some of the things I did in it, like how I spoke in the beginning, like the first half of the video. But in the 2 other videos I've already posted, those are newer and hopefully should be better. So if you want to check those out, I'd really appreciate it. But if not, that's fine. And just bye.